And today we're talking about the upcoming recession. It's not a question of if it's going to come, it's a question of when it comes. So check out this image right here. And do you see the gray marks on that image? That is when there were pending recessions. So now we're talking about, okay, how is it going to happen and when? When? I don't know. It could be the next few months, could be the next 6 months, it can be in 2 years. We don't know. But tendency, it's looking like it. We're already in it. And then they're going to lower interest rates. The Federal Reserve is going to lower interest rates to get the economy more steam and try to do it. But this is a really shitty time because elections are around the corner and we're going to see what's going to happen. So I've asked AI, and I did some research. I've asked AI, what does this pending recession is going to look like? Not every recession is the same. Some of them are different than others. COVID recession was a lot different than this one. So I asked AI, and they said it thinks that it's going to be with layoffs and difficulty finding new work. So the recession often leads to companies downsizing their work and cut out costs, difficulty finding new work. So that's going to be one side effect of this upcoming recession that they think. They think that, or AI thinks that it's going to be layoffs and difficulty finding new work. This pretty much aligns with what we're seeing, what Allison sees in her coaching program, and this is what I see on the news. That, not on the news, but what I see people talking about on TikTok, on social media, what they're saying about how it is finding a new job and how it is trying to do, how to get new work and how difficult it is. And from layoffs to actually signing the offer takes longer now than it did before. Okay, so how to reduce the impact. So I also said, so if you would be doing, if you'd be a financial advisor for me, what would you do? And I kind of aligned with the AI tool because it said emergency fund. So you should actually build an emergency fund. Everybody should have one. From 3 to 6 months, everybody should have an emergency fund. So that is one part of it. And as much as possible for the time of the income lost, yes. Then you should also pay down debt. But that is really, really hard to do because people on credit card debt don't really feel the hurt until the compound interest starts taking real effect. So that was number point 2, pay down the debt. So another point that it said is enhance skills. Consider training or education to become more competitive in the job market. So what that means is you basically got to learn a new skill, do something different, and become more educated so you stick out on a resume, on job applications. So you got to do something to outcompete your competitors in a competitive job market. A lot of competition. So, and then the fourth one, it said network, maintain connection with your industry for potential opportunities. Yes, and number one thing that this isn't saying is that networking is giving first and receiving afterwards. So you want to give and then receive, right? And these 4 things should really help you get through it. How is this gonna, after you did that, what are companies doing? So they're cutting wages, fewer working hours, depleted savings, increased debt. So this is really interesting because I've seen job postings now that are for way less money because companies need to make sure that they're staying afloat. And when companies need to stay afloat, they cannot pay you as much. And I'm not talking about Fortune 500 companies, I'm talking about smaller companies, startups, mom and pop shops that need to stay afloat and might not have the financial stuff. So if you're gonna apply for one of those jobs or have one, you really need to be aware of that. And to mitigate that, that you're gonna get a lowball offer, you need to have skills and you need to show a company why you're that expensive and how much money you can make them, so that they're not gonna like say, oh, you in New York that you're gonna pay you $44,000 a year. You say, no, I have proven track record of making, of saving the company either $200,000 or of, with sales, I can increase sales by 20-30%, just me alone, and that's going to result into $500,000. So why do you want to pay me less? That doesn't make any sense. So be prepared for that. Okay, here. Challenging in affording basic necessities. So this is what AI said that we're gonna that this is going to be a challenge of this upcoming recession. So rising prices, we've seen that. I've seen milk go up. I've seen Tazo tea go up by 100% from grocery stores. That is the most insane thing, that those prices have doubled, and salaries are going down, inflation's going up, everything is going in the wrong direction than it should. So difficulty paying bills, I've seen that, and that might be why the debt level is rising on credit cards, because people put their utilities and all that on a credit card. So that might be one reason why credit card debt is going up. Increased risk of homelessness. I do think so that that's the case. And these people that are saying, oh, just if you're a homeowner, just refinance your house. I don't think you can just refinance your house when you have no job. You need to somehow tell the bank how you can pay that debt off. So there's that issue. So you got to be really, really careful of having an emergency fund and not having to take out any loans or something that you might not be able to pay back. So you're not going to be homeless. Okay. Long-term consequences. What does AI think are the consequences of this recession? Diminished earning potential. Yes, I think so. The loss of retirement savings, mental and emotional toll. Yes, so I think once a recession is in gear or is coming, people pull back their spendings. People are going out as long as they can put it on a credit card. This is my personal opinion, but I think people can only go out as long as they have the credit card. If the credit card's maxed out and there's no new credit card, people cannot go out, because there's so many restaurants nowadays that only accept credit card. They do not take cash anymore because employees steal stuff. So that is one side effect of it, and that's gonna have a whole nother ripple effect. So watch my other videos about that I just made. Loss of retirement savings. Yes, one huge thing is that people will lose savings over this, and that is super tragic. And before I talk a little bit about this, check out how gorgeous Santa Cruz is with its beaches. Used to live here, not anymore. I had to get out. This is a small city, and now I live in Las Vegas, and I haven't regretted it. So people will lose their savings over this. And how do they lose their savings? Well, they get unemployment or something, because unemployment isn't enough. They will then have issues with paying for housing, paying for rent, and they got to dip into savings. And saving rates weren't that high, because I've seen charts that savings rates declined a lot after COVID, and repos are up and everything else. So depleting your savings is never a good idea. So now let's look at mental health and emotional health tools. So the financial health is not the financial health, the mental health is a huge deal that we don't talk about enough. You get burnt. Recessions burn people. That makes people believe in people like Dave Ramsey and says, never take out debt for anything, because during recessions, Warren Buffett said it right, during a recession, you see who's skinny dipping. What does that mean? That means that when we're during a recession, you will see who over leveraged, who was gambling with money they didn't have, because everything has a lifespan, and every tab will get paid some sort of way. So what do I mean by that? So in real estate or in the stock market, you can gamble, you can use leverage, you can do all these crazy things, but the bill is come due. Now interest rates are higher, money's not that easy to come by to lend, and so what does that do? That means that you have to pay higher interest rate. That makes maybe stocks go down. That might be that real estate prices aren't as up anymore as they used to be, or that making you, if you had a flexible interest rate, that might make you not qualify for a higher interest rate, and it all happens, and then you gotta sell it. And scams are on the rise, so people might take away your your house, do quick claim deeds and all this other fraudulent stuff, and scams are on the rise. And the best scam I've seen so far was that somebody tried to scam on my behalf. So listen to this. This is a scam that I've seen, and I condone this, and I do not want people to fall into this, and I hate seeing this. So what happened to me was, when I bought a house, I moved in, and during the time it closed and moved, I did not claim my house on Zillow. So if you did not claim your homeowner and you claimed your house, you need to do that right now. And pause this video, come back, and do it right now. Because this scam was so genius, and I'm like really aware of scammers. So what happened was, somebody claimed my house, and a bunch of stuff is public record, so you know who it is. So they claimed my house on my behalf, and just put in an email address that kind of sounded like me or something like it. And then they wrote a description that said, in my house, there's currently tenants in there. We're from this huge charity organization, and we're giving a house away for free, almost. So it's going to be $6,000 in that you got to pay, and it's $3,000 up front and $6,000 that you got to pay. And I just paid for that house $900,000. So what is that? And that was in the description, listed for sale. And the description also said that that was a big family that was rich and all that stuff. If you comment below, I'll make another video explaining even more into detail, and I see if I can have the screenshots. But they said, hey, there's tenants in there right now, don't disturb them. And if you want to look at it, we don't do that, but we require $2,000 deposit for you before you go look at it, because it's such a good deal. And once you're moved in, we'll do the title transfer, no realtors. And I actually had realtors show up at my doorstep and telling me how stupid I am, that taxes don't work like that, that I should really reconsider. And that's how I found out, because I had a realtor come to my door and says, why aren't you selling with your with a realtor? You can make $900,000. Taxes don't work like that, that you do that. And they said, but you're the renter, so you wouldn't know. So I said, no, I'm the owner. And I had a conversation with him, and he reported it. My realtor that he just purchased it reported it to Zillow, and it took like 48 hours. And a bunch of people actually came drive by the house. They looked at it, they peeked over the walls, and they said, this is not for sale. So it was insane. It was insane. So beware of scams. They're coming, and you just gotta be aware of it. Now, important to consider, not all recessions are equal. And a disproportionate impact, yeah. Working class, yeah. So let's talk about the first one. Not all recessions are equal. Yes, there's different cycles, and it will hit different demographics in different parts of the country differently. So in a tech recession, San Francisco Bay Area might be hit, but in another recession, in a blue collar place, Michigan or Detroit might be hit worse. So, but maybe the Bay Area or San Francisco has also blue collar. Don't quote me on that, but something like it. So now let's look at the report. The working class are generally hit harder during recessions. Yes, I think a recession is for poor people. And why do I think that? Because the rich people, and I'm not talking about the rich people, and don't give a shit about the recession. They buy up stuff. They knew it was coming. They saved up the money. These are the Jamie Dimon people that said, hey, and that's what I mean by rich people. I think the middle class making $100,000 to like $150,000, those are all poor people. Those are the people that got laid off. Those are the people that live on credit card debt. Everything else, if you're under $150,000, you're just poor. And I'm also in that category of poor people, so don't feel too bad. And yeah, it's gonna hit us harder, because really rich people, they have assets, they can shuffle around, they can file for Chapter 13 bankruptcy to restructure their debt. They're never the ones that have the big problems. It's always the middle folks, it's always the middle class and the people that have, it's the working class and the people that don't have the necessities and the means to an end, to refinance, to do creative financing, to move stuff around. And also what I noticed is that a lot of really rich people work together on projects together, and they have company A, hire company B, and then they trade off, do things like that. And so recessions don't necessarily hurt these people too much. So now policies matter. Government responses such as stimulus packages and expanding social programs, they help. They do, but they're mostly too late. I don't think that those people that are needing the social assistance, they needed it beforehand too. And the middle class, there's never a strategy for saving the middle class. There's always strategies to help out even like broke people, or then the top 1%. Because if banks fail, the Jamie Dimons fail, they're always going to have golden parachutes. What does that mean? That means the government will always step them in and bail them out. Unfortunately, Lehman Brothers, that wasn't the case, but sometimes you need to have a big player go to zero. And what I'm really interested in, though, is to see these executives from Lehman Brothers, where they transferred to. I don't think they were unemployed. I think they just got absorbed by other banks. So I'm gonna do some research when I get home to see where they gone. And if they don't, I'll put a disclaimer here that wasn't the case. But if that was the case, I'm gonna post it right here to see where they went, because I think the golden parachute saves 90% of these people. So again, the middle class got laid off. Everything besides C-suite executives, they lost again, like I said before. And those are the poor people that lose. That would be me included. So let me know what you think about this video, and I'll see you in the next one.